It's thinking. There we go.
We are live.
Live from Cebu. It's Tuesday morning. Mayang buntag, mayang hapon, mayang gabi, no matter where you are in the world.
Yep.
Very cool.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm getting sound and quadraphonic at this point.
You're good, sir.
Very cool. I finally learned all the places to check and double check and triple check if the feed's coming in correct, and I figured out how to make the default back to the webcam that it's supposed to be. And this stuff is a learning curve, and I'm too old for this learning curve.
There's always a learning curve. Good afternoon, Brandon.
Mayang hapon, Brendan.
Sunny.
It is a bright sunny day. It's actually fairly cool, and so we've got all the doors and windows open, trying to suck in that cool air. And we've got a fan on that side of us, and we got a fan on this side of us.
Yep. Hi, the Philippine Experience.
Hey, Philippine Experience. Somebody asked me the other day, and I had to go back and think about it. I don't know your name. And all the conversations we've had, I don't think we've ever gotten your name.
Yeah.
Not a huge deal, but it just kind of struck me as kind of
You're right.
funny like that. But there's a fair amount of people that on these channels that you never really do. You know what their YouTube name is, but never really know what their name is.
John Ed. No, I thought it was Ed. That's Brandon.
But Sunday was our anniversary. Oh, Brandon thought I thought it was Ed. Sure you do. It's the best name in the world. Down. Yeah, I'm kind of particular to that name. Although my son's named Glenn after my father.
Wow, there's so much, John, huh?
There is. Well, thank you, Brandon.
Thank you for all the wishes. We posted it on Facebook, and then
Yes, thank you guys for all the wishes on Facebook. But we've been together for 6 years now.
6 good, bad, ugly.
That it's been an interesting ride. It's quite definitely been an e-ticket ride.
A roller coaster.
Back in the day,
Okay.
the Disneyland used to have tickets that were lettered A, B, C, D, and the e-ticket rides were like the big roller coaster, really big thrill rides. And that's why it says it's an e-ticket to ride, because there was only like one of those in the booklets that you used to get, because they were for like the ultra special rides. But yeah, it's definitely been an e-ticket ride, and it's unquestionably been worth it.
Yeah.
So what's your happiest moment in the last 6?
I don't know. There's so many.
Well, pick one.
Big pregnant. Even sometimes, if you tease me, it's my fault. So.
Yeah, that one's kind of a long story, but yeah, I've teased her a couple times.
Okay.
That was kind of a fun experience that I look forward to next month. We're doing that. That for the guys that are here that weren't here yesterday, we had our first Zoom meeting, and it was a really cool meetup. Everybody enjoyed it. We were there for hour and 20 minutes.
Almost 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, it was. We were there for quite a while,
Like
and it was
11
a lot of
o'clock,
fun.
sir.
Uh,
I started at 9. You finished like 11. Okay.
yeah, you know,
Going back to your question about happiest moment. Yeah, there's a lot. Going out, going to the park, you know, those little things also. Those are the happiest. Just watching movies with you. Yeah, with my parents in the US, when I graduated my MBA, got my citizenship. Those are also the happiest moments. Um, those little things that I neglect to recognize.
and
So,
they're way easy to overlook.
yeah. So I think those are also the happiest. My first 2 years, I always been grateful and saying thank you, like everything. I guess it changed after like 3, 4. I mean, 3, 4 years in the US. I don't know.
And it did. But I think that's true with marriage in general, though. After you've been with somebody for so long, a lot of the special moments become commonplace.
And it switched like our personality. Like I become more so. I become more like you, and you become more like me. Like,
Yeah, we started out here and then kind of swung this way. Now, now we got to swing back towards this.
and you teach me. So, yeah. You teach me really well, and I can fight back. So that's one thing.
Yeah, because when you first got there, when we'd start to argue, you'd go run and hide. You'd shut down. And then finally one day you slammed the bedroom door open and had a couple of loud words with me, and it began the new Cindy.
Yeah.
But and I encouraged you to keep talking like that, even if that's how it has to be sometimes.
There's a lot of heartaches, but
There's a lot of heartache.
it outnumbered the 50.
That there were some definite, hard and troubling times, without
I'll blame
question.
you on that. Most of the time.
and I'll take that blame for most of the time too. But
John used to be, well, he's loud, as you can see. Most of Americans are loud. I think
yeah, even on this, you can tell that my voice is just naturally.
if people don't know John, they think John was angry, always angry.
Filipinos in particular,
And that's why.
my normal conversation voice is well projected in a kind of a larger volume. I think you guys on here can hear the difference in just the way we speak. And I've got a tone and pitch to my voice that makes it even appear even louder.
It scared me before, like your voice. That's one thing too. It took me a while to get used to.
Yeah, because when I get serious and speak, again, because of tone and pitch, it can seem like I am very angry.
You're always angry.
And I'm not angry, but I'm just speaking in a way to make sure you hear and understand me.
Yeah, you mumbled some days, most of the time, and I cannot hear you, and then that's why we start an argument.
Well, and a lot of it is you tried to get me to calm down and quiet down a little bit, but I have part of why I speak so project so well is I do have some hearing issues, and that's part of the way I can hear myself over any noise or background information. Is I can hear myself that way. Hey, good morning, Mr. Rodney. How you doing today?
Hi, Rodney. He's from Canada.
Okay. British Columbia?
He's somewhere in
Okay.
Canada.
Hey, how you doing today? Sorry I missed your call earlier today. I was talking to a friend of ours that's running a house that there's a little bit of drama going on back there.
Drama, yeah. Thank you, Kuya Steve.
Salamat, Kuya Steve. That you've got to be coming up on. You got to be coming up on a decade or more.
What do you mean?
Steve and Molly, they got to be. Yeah, they got to be over 12, 15 years.
Happy, good, sad, bad, ugly. 6 years. All of them.
It's been an interesting ride.
Oh, they're 14 years. Cool.
Oh, very cool. You got 10 years on it. You got, well, yeah,
8 years.
8 years on us.
Catch up.
You've been married over twice as long as we have.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Time flies so quickly.
Now, they did kind of more stereotypical Filipino that if they've been married 14 and Sam turned 14, that they had a kid right after they got married. We waited 6 years to have one.
We didn't really expect. You blame me on that.
Yeah, that's a comment I'm going to regret.
Big circle, small circle. Yeah.
That well, Rodney, if you're interested in doing it, there's actually a few places that recognize an online wedding.
Oh, yeah.
That there's been a movement for people to get over here. That they went to the correct states and they got the paperwork and they did an online ceremony.
Yeah.
And because the U.S. recognized it, the Philippines recognized it reciprocally, and they were allowed to get in that way. Oh, very cool. And again, although it's kind of unusual in the U.S. or in the West in general, long engagements are kind of maybe not normal, but they're definitely not uncommon here. For adults to be dating 6, 8 years is not at all unheard of here.
Sorry.
I think she's drawing Homer Simpson. But
Kuya Steve said I need some info for the internet booster you use. Just PM me if you could.
oh yeah, you probably can get it. Well, I don't know about that, but by the time you ship it over here, unless you get it just before you leave and bring it with you.
I just didn't know. Gotta be face to face, but I have to admit I did not know they didn't recognize online.
That
Yeah, there is an online. But I like face to face.
well, but kind of like what we did. That we had an actual wedding ceremony in the Philippines and in the U.S., but then we kind of quietly did an additional one to just fulfill legal requirements.
That's why we have 3 wedding dates.
And so, to do an online one just to fulfill legal requirements, just to get over here to have the wedding, yeah, I can see that. Well, it's one of those situations you can get the same exact thing here or there. And as a matter of fact, the instructions on this were for the US model, not the Asian model. So
Hard to kiss the girl through the entrance, but I can see why they would do it.
you can get them either place, and I've heard of some people getting them there and bringing them here. We got lucky that the PLDT package we got included 2.
Yeah.
And a little concerned whether or not 2 was going to work, but it did. It worked perfect. So,
Yeah.
because we put one up on the landing upstairs, and that does cover the entire.
March is quick. 2022. Yeah. Time flies so quick. You're never gonna know. It will just happen fast.
When we were waiting to get here, May to October seemed to take forever. After we've been here, it didn't seem like quite that bad. And it definitely seemed October to May, it seems like it flew.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things, watch kettle never boils. But we've had a ton of fun, and we've got to go explore and do a lot of cool things. And some of the neatest things for me wasn't going catching fish at that trout pond. It was going and watching you catch fish and seeing you do it for the first time.
Oh, you were laughing at me.
It was funny. I think I did. I got video posted of that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Back in the U.S., just before we left, they've got some trout ponds up by Sedona. And when they had a girls' weekend out, they invited me along kind of as the driver.
It's my birthday.
And it was her birthday as well. And we spent an extra day celebrating her birthday.
Actually, 2 days.
But we went to a trout pond, and it's a stocked pond.
Yeah.
And so the four of them got to go fishing for the first time.
Yeah. We actually got apple picking too, and orange picking.
Yeah, they went on a hike and they found an apple tree and came back with a freaking bush of apples. And it was neat things like that, seeing you get to do them for the first time.
We've been swimming too in the river.
Yeah, that was way cool.
There's a lot.
You and I played in John and Karen's pool.
We did a lot. We did a lot. Went to Niagara Falls, to your hometown. Went to Grand Canyon. We went to that solar eclipse.
Yeah,
we need
that
to
was
spend
way cool.
time.
That was way cool.
Into Seaside, Oregon, and to the yeah, there's a lot though. You might have a lot of quarrels, intense discussions, but we have a lot of good memories too.
But that's just it. I'd already been scuba diving in that side of the Pacific. And
You
stuff.
were also
I'd already been in the Pacific.
you're scared also. Remember that when we did scuba diving, you're way scarier than I am. Like, you want to go back first and instead go down. Remember that you're in.
Oh yeah, when we were here. Yeah, she absolutely loved it, and we did our first scuba dives in the Philippines together.
Yeah.
But it's things like that, the things that we got to do together, and I got to watch it for the first time through you.
Yeah.
That was really cool to me. And those
Riding the bicycle that I got an accident.
Yes.
I have a mark here. A mark.
And
That's what happened to my forehead. If you ask to see, yeah, this is a bicycle ride.
yeah, that she got a little tiny scar on her eyebrow. But
I was like looking at. Yeah, did you answer? We assume we have internet in one room.
now that's the kind of cool part of these is they're an extender, and a few back in the U.S. they're used more for that, for the extender. That they had one guy that had almost 2 acres of property that they got like 4 on, and by having them that they overlap, their ranges overlap.
Yeah.
That he was able to take it all the way out to the edges of his property. What we're using it for is because the signal past that landing area degrades horribly, and even up to that landing area isn't great.
Yeah.
Somehow by the radio waves that they use and stuff, that it gets up there better, and then on top of it, it gets rebroadcast from up there, and it's going pretty much at the full speed that the entire network operates on.
Yeah.
What Another solution suggested was to put a second router up there and just do a slave router. The drawback of doing that is you've got two different networks. And so when you go from downstairs to up, you wind up on a different network. Like our printer would be on a different network. So if we were upstairs and wanted to print a document, we'd have to come downstairs to get on the same network. Whereas these, because it's a repeater type network, it's the same network up, down, sideways, back, forth, everywhere. And so there's a huge advantage on that. And so like in yours, that you could put one out, to get a couple, you could put one in the main room that you've got, because it does have to be connected to the modem or the router, whichever you've got. And then put the other one, or if you've got a couple of them, you can put one in the area where your office, then bedrooms are. You can put one out in the store, so Molly has internet access in the store. And it's one password. It's one continuous internet.
Yeah, and it's really fast.
And it's a super good idea. The next thing I'm going to be doing, and I need to figure out how this is going to work, is I do have some network attached storage. And so I need to.
I definitely agree with you, Brandon. Mesh is definitely.
Mesh definitely seems to be the way to go. But as far as getting in the U.S. or getting it in the Philippines, you can get the same exact setups in the U.S. and Philippines.
Yeah.
We went with a Linksys setup, and it works really well. A couple others went with different ones. And they're a little bit more expensive here, but not significantly. And yeah, it's difficult to keep up with, and I'm not as tech savvy as I'd like to be. But I have a lot of friends that are, and I used to be fairly up on it.
You just said the instructions.
But yeah, this was pretty idiot-proof. That there was an app that you download, and you use that to set it up, and it walks you through it, as simply as you can. There's a couple of forums that discuss different, more tech issues.
Yeah.
And the one that I need to get online with is that I've got some network drives that typically I'll just plug them into the back of the router, because it's got 4 ports, and I've got 3 drives that I use. Mm-hmm. This is our Philippines. You got to know, and any of you that have done a lot of video files are freaking huge.
Yeah.
And so I've got 2 8-terabyte drives, and I've got a third 2-terabyte drive, and I normally keep them just plugged into the router, and that way any of the computers on the network have access to them.
Yeah. I'm entertaining myself.
I can see that because there's a delay even in the video.
I'm looking at this and I'm looking, and that's why I tried to do like that and see, and like, oh, yeah.
Now the video we watch, there's no delay.
Yes.
The video we watch for YouTube Studio, there's no delay.
Yeah.
But on the replay that you guys watch,
yeah,
that there's
2 seconds,
3 second delay.
Yeah.
And that's what she was doing. She was moving off screen and then coming back and watching the delay.
I don't need to. I'm sorry. You silly guy. I'm like trying not to. You know that the you serve it. Even your eyes, you do like that, and then it's so cute to see the delay too. Okay, go back to that. Sorry. Go ahead. Here, sige na.
Well, I just noticed between here and your phone, there's a delay.
Yeah,
Between here and your computer, there's a delay.
yeah.
But between your phone and computer, there's
There's
a delay.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, that's what you were playing with all three of them.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, people. I just had this huge squirrel run into my path that I'm going to hold up a hand and start counting, and I'm going to see how long it takes before it hits all three of them. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a computer, and there's the phone. So the computer hits before the phone, and the phone's the last one to hit.
Yeah. Hey, Kuya Steve said,
Oh, I'm sorry.
did I hear something in the room? Did Cindy give me a box in the eye?
Oh no, I've got a slight eye infection or something. I need to get to an ophthalmologist to check out.
Yeah. And
there
No, don't touch
was
it.
some of the sleep or something like that, or I thought there was. I went to
You
pick it off this
scratch
morning at
it.
the lid.
Yeah.
So I need to get to an ophthalmologist as well.
Before they said, I give you a black eye. Don't rub it.
Kind of goes back to the
Yeah,
Philippines, kind of this huge petri dish of infections and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, Kuya Steve is right. Don't rub it. I told you that. Don't rub it. I told you a while ago. You listen.
Yeah, I'm as bad as a 5-year-old on that. I'm doing stuff like that. And for some reason, or on my, this is one kind of weird, but for some reason, and I think this may be why I got the eye infection, is the area around my eyes sweat horribly, or seems to collect sweat.
Yeah, don't touch it. Don't rub it.
And so I think that may be part of the reason why the eye
I
infection.
need to go check eye doctor today when we go to the up to the hospital.
Yeah, when she goes and makes her radiology appointment for the ultrasound, that I've got some paperwork I need to drop off to an orthopedic surgeon that said he'd do the report for me for my annual report for my retirement.
Yeah.
And he's real good about getting people in, so it may be a matter of he'll see me today. I don't know, but we'll at least drop off the paperwork so he can take a look at it. Do a review of what the injuries were and all that good stuff, and all that funness. Now, I've never had a sty. My sister Janice used to get them a lot when she was a teenager.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yes. Hot towel.
Like
Hot.
like hot water towel and then cool water towel. I've never heard of that. I'll have to give it a shot.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot.
Just get the water kettle and warm it up and put it on, and then warm up and put on the. Have you ever let Marlene know we do these?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of surprised that her Paul was never get out of
They
here.
might be decent.
Okay. That yeah, she Facebooks too when we do this. she's way big into multitasking. I need to stay focused because
You
squirrels
stay
and stuff like
focused there.
that get really bad for me.
You stay focused there.
So if you see me looking over to her, that's what's going on. And if you see her attention wandering, she's actually doing that. That tomorrow morning, Papa and I are going to take a walk. And last week, we didn't YouTube this one. We didn't live stream it for a couple of reasons. But we went to a squatters area that's right behind where we live. And there's supposedly a shortcut to an area that we kind of like to go to. But when we went up there, we couldn't find it. And we went down a couple of dead ends. And Papa asked somebody, and they took us to someplace else that wasn't where we wanted to go. And when we clarified where we wanted to go, that they said, no, you can't get there anymore. And really didn't offer a good explanation of why. And so we're going to go tomorrow. Papa and I are going to go around to the other end where it would come out at and come back at it that way and see what happens. From looking at it on Google Maps and from having walked it, I think there has been a gate put up here, and since Google Maps has been out there, and since the other person told us about it, it had been here. But it's just a cute way to explore the area. We're going to be here for a while, so it'll be fun exploring, and Papa and I enjoy the morning walks like that. Oh. Seeing her on Messenger. That her brother stopped by yesterday and picked up a mounting bracket that needs to go on Sunshine. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure how to make that work right better. Yeah, they're not going to do great that they're overexposed in the camera, but that's Sunshine's new look, and everything's in and ready. On this front, that there's 2 side LEDs, and then underneath the main bar, that there's going to be an LED bar, and that's the mount that I forgot to give him a month ago that Jem picked up and ran back and dropped off this morning. Adrian, the mechanic, his uncle came and took a look at the AC last night, and the AC, the freon charge was low, and the oil for the compressor needed some attention. I always thought freon was the oil for the compressor, but his uncle was able to get the AC running, and it wasn't terribly expensive, about 3,200 pesos, 3.2. And so it looks like Sunshine's going to be like new now. So
Exciting.
I'm good this weekend, and this is something I haven't talked to her about yet. Did you want to just stay down there until Sunday and just come back with Mama Papa? Okay.
Hold on. Mama, mabalik naman sa mo next week na. So, okay rami, stay Wibis there ni Sabado. Yung puwid nga ng taon, padong na rin.
Come back
Domingo.
on Sunday afternoon?
Sabado, Domingo sa hapon. Oh, pwede.
Oh, Steve said hi, Mama.
Ni Mama daw.
You got waved at. That I'm gonna get with him sometime this weekend, and sometime with Cindy, and I'll have Cindy sit down and kind of do a little bit of interpreting. And I'm gonna do an interview with him.
He's good in English though. You know,
He's good in English, but he's better in Visayan.
he speak Visaya in front of me, so
But just sit down and have him discuss and debate the difference, without question, the difference between buying from a custom builder, a one-off builder, versus buying from one of these companies that does rebuilding. Because there was a huge difference that we did not understand or appreciate. And it was a learning curve for us. You know, fortunately, we were in a position and are in a position where we could recoup from that, but not everybody is. And so, you know, that's definitely going to be a video, you know, we must watch this before you go out and buy one.
it's awesome.
And there's some huge cons to doing it through a custom builder, because there's going to be a big wait time. There's going to be a big wait time. And I don't know that we could have dealt with a wait time. It would have been real hard dealing with a wait time. What I wish would have happened, and probably could, but would have added a little bit of expense, is to have him come up and take a look at it. And say, yeah, that's the best one to come from a start. I can work with that one in a couple months, but when you've got time to park it for a month. Or for 2-3 weeks, you know, I can do this. I can do this in a week. I can do that in a week. I can, and had his advice in getting it. So, and yes, the further along Cindy gets, that's part of the reason why I was hoping to get it back. It made the move for a little bit more of a challenge than it should have been, but it all got done. It all got done. But yeah, I'm going to sit down with him and have that, and probably do that as a standalone video.
Yeah.
But that one's going to be a while coming out, just simply because of I'm probably going to have to do pretty much entirely open caption on that for translational issues. And I will let him know, you know, that if there's anything that doesn't translate well, you know, just say it in the sign. I'll find people to help me with translating it. And I'll let him see the video before it goes up, and that way he can say, yeah, well, this is kind of what I meant. But and not throwing any builder, you know, any remanufacturing company in particular under the bus, but just the general differences between the two. And you know that I'll give him some points on that, and let him and I have an open discussion and do an interview type video to discuss and debate the pros and cons to it. I've got the mic set up, so I can do that pretty well. Just mic him and I. Yeah, that actually kind of sounds fun. I think I'm going to do that. And just sit down and have that discussion.
Yeah, because today after this we're going to the hospital. We need to do a schedule. If they have schedule open to the
What time do they open? 10?
no, they open at 8.
Oh, they open at 8? All right. In that case, I'm actually going to say, why don't we cut this a little bit short today?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, we hugely appreciate everybody that comes out here and real faithfully supports us.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, that we've extended this before, and it's dead serious. If any of you ever get to Cebu area or wherever we are, you know, you've got a place to stay for a few days a week to, you know, while you're here. that we have a lot of gratitude for you, especially being a smaller growing channel. And yeah, that it is my intent to hopefully get this monetized to the point where we can make enough for this to be a self-supporting hobby versus, it's about $500 to $1,000 a year annual for the expenses we do on keeping this running. And there's some things that we've got that we don't use a lot. I'm gonna start trying to use them a little bit more. Like we've got a website, and I'm gonna ask people to start going over and logging into the website that are interested in the Zoom meetings, because through the website I can do a mass mailing to any people that are registered with the website, and that would let me do a mailing like a week in advance to remind people, and do one the day before to remind people that it's coming up. And it's got a calendar function to where you could see stuff like that. And it's just a matter of, for the next few months until we get caught back up on some bills and some monetary, finances, that a lot of things are going to have to be put on hold. So this would be a really good time for me to sit my little keister down and continue on with the learning that I was doing in Phoenix.
Yes.
So, but we are going to start heading down to Velez.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today. And
thank everyone for being here and giving this continued support. And a huge thanks to everybody that wished us well wishes on our anniversary. It has been a ton of fun. It's been unquestionably worth every minute of the 6 years, the good, bad, and the ugly.
The blaming and everything.
So, and yeah, there's been some challenges working with it, and we've done a few videos on that. We ought to do one of those.
Yeah, we do.
And yeah, you guys have got any kind of topic questions that you'd like it to see one like that? We'd like to start doing a little bit more. Kind of marriage tips, or just personal experience.
Yeah, we argue.
And we've kind of figured out how to argue and not cause permanent hard feelings.
Yeah, we talk after that.
And so that's a huge part of it. So, but if you guys got anything in particular along that lines that you'd like as tips, please don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah.
So, but Mabuhay.
Yes, Steve, how do you keep out of Tom John?
I'll PM you on that one.